Hi, it's been a while, but I finally looked up some articles and I wanted to talk about Joe Biden's administration and how him and the Democratic Party are just fucking lying about these $2,000 stimulus checks that they've been promising us after his win in the general election and right before the Georgia runoffs where Warnock and Ossoff just won. Okay, this article is from The Nation and it's cutting $2,000 payments, then limiting who's eligible for them is bad economics and loser politics. Let's see. Biden's under pressure from deficit hawks to slash his stimulus plan. O'Connor warns that do so would be a terrible idea. I would argue he's not under pressure, but he would like to work with them to reduce the stimulus plan. Okay. The same cabal of compulsive neoliberals and centrist grifters who derailed meaningful progress in previous Democratic administrations are at it again. This time, they want President Biden and the Democrats to lower expectations for COVID 19 relief by reducing the amount of direct payments to Americans and imposing harsh restrictions on who might be eligible for them. Let's see, this article was written February 1st, so this is only a couple days old. Okay, on Sunday, a group of 10 Republican senators sent the president a letter outlining a plan to reduce his $1.9 trillion stimulus package to approximately $600 billion. To cut costs, Republicans proposed to limit direct payments to just $1,000 to prevent them from going to anyone earning more than $50,000 a year. They also want to jettison Biden's plan to increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Republicans say they hope Biden will work with them to achieve unity and bipartisanship. In fact, they're proposing austerity under the guise of targeted relief, a dangerously bad idea that some Senate Democrats have also begun to peddle. If Biden buckles to the deficit hawks who favor a narrow response to the economic turbulence spawned by the coronavirus pandemic, compromise some of the president's recent statements suggest is possible, he will do his agenda and his party deep damage. Well, some issue with President Biden's agenda is he didn't really have an agenda. He was running for the same reason that Hillary Clinton was running for president back in 16. They wanted to run because it was their turn to be president. They were in the Senate for a number of years. They were part of um, they were part of a presidential administration with Hillary Clinton being Secretary of State and Joe Biden being Vice President. In 16, it wasn't Biden's turn to be a presidential candidate, at least for the Democratic Party then. So Obama really pushed him not to run in 16, also because his son died just then, so he really didn't feel like running then either. But this time it was Joe Biden's turn to run for president. The Democratic Party made sure Biden won over Bernie Sanders and anybody else that ran against him, whether it was Amy Klobuchar or Pete Buttigieg. So they ensured that Joe Biden would win, and that was all he really wanted to do. He just wanted to be president because it was his turn. So he has no real agenda to do anything specific for people that are suffering under this pandemic. And we're in a Great Depression. We gotta call it something else because that's already been coined something where this is no, I don't know. I'm not gonna think of nothing right now. I can't think of anything, but we're in a depression right now, and Joe Biden has no real agenda to do anything significant or transformative slash revolutionary to really ensure that the people of the United States are taken care of, especially the poor and the working class. He has no plans whatsoever doing anything for poor and working class people. That's why there's even an idea of, or even some sort of plan to make sure they pass a regular bill with the 60 votes in the Senate to make sure there's bipartisanship in a stimulus bill. because the matter of the fact is, if the stimulus bill needs to be more than $1.9 trillion that the Biden administration put forth, then they need to increase it and just pass it through reconciliation. Number one. Number two, they should have had this bill ready to go, ready to start getting this shit ready to go and ready to start passing it hours after he got sworn in. And number two, he should have had the bill to pass single payer health care, Medicare for all, a few hours after he got sworn in. That day they could have had those two bills written and just ready to go through Congress so they could start passing that quick, fast, in a hurry. Because it's not like the Biden administration and the Democratic Party didn't have time to say, well, just in case we win the two Senate runoffs and we actually win the Senate by having a 50-50 majority and the presidency, we could pass whatever we want through budget reconciliation. It's not like they didn't have the time to say, hey, we could have a couple really impactful and progressive bills ready to go to really help people that are hurting right now. But they didn't do that because they ain't working for just regular Joes and regular Janes like me and you. And for the stimulus bill, I don't like the capping it to people earning less than $50,000 a year. Because depending on where you live, $50,000 a year isn't that much. Not to mention that those middle class people that aren't getting some of these subsidies are going to be left out in the cold when they could use $1,200 or $2,000, which the stimulus bill should be. And slightly wealthier people have incentive to kill it. Oh, look at all these people getting $1,200 or $2,000 from the government. Oh, we need to cut that shit back. Well, if you give it to everybody, there's a little less incentive for the wealthy people to say, oh, let's get rid of it, because they're getting that check too. Plus, if you want something universal, it needs to go to everybody. And one thing that President Biden could do, and what should be done, is instead of $2,000 checks, he should say we should actually lend out $12,000 checks or $14,000 checks, because he can actually legitimately say the Trump administration, they really let the ball down and not really given enough aid to a bunch of poor and working class people that have been devastated by this economic downturn or this depression that we're in right now. So we're going to back pay $1,200 for all those months that the Trump administration did not issue. So that's why we're going to do $12,000 checks to everybody right now. And what we could also do is we could do $2,000 recurring payments for the rest of the year. We're going to make sure we're taking care of everybody. We don't need tens of thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands of more people worrying about losing their jobs or whether they're going to get kicked out of their homes. We don't need any more people going starving, especially since they got rid of the extra like $600 a week for the extra unemployment benefits. And that was a big issue that the Trump administration failed on. They should have extended that shit through the whole year, not just let it end in like June or July. And no matter how big the stimulus bill is, it doesn't need to have offsetting tax hikes or any other cuts in spending right now, because we're not doing austerity, because austerity really hurts and really undermines the economic well-being of poor and working class people in the United States. So we don't need to go and try to take money out of this program here or there, which is definitely going to hurt people that are struggling right now. And right now is not the time for austerity. And we really need to get rid of this austerity. Oh, we got to make sure we don't spend too much here and there. No, absolutely not. Because right now, especially last year, they gave billions and billions of dollars to these profitable corporations right now, and then they want to argue about giving just regular people $2,000, which is fucking ridiculous. They want to give all the subsidies in the world to big, wealthy corporations that are making lots of money, lots of profits, and then they don't want to give regular people any subsidies, and they barely want to give any small businesses any subsidies. So they want to kill small businesses so they can prop up the big businesses, which is definitely not good for the economy, and it's not good for society either, because that's going to create more wealth and income inequality than it already is right now. And even implementing those two proposals, that's still not enough of a transformation, that's not enough of a revolutionary change to really transform our economic and our political system into a more equal and sustainable and equitable system. Because we need to go to something more fair and just, like especially socialism. And here's another big reason why the Biden administration should and could go big and give people $12,000 checks right now and give everybody $2,000 per month, at least for the next year. This article is from last year too. This is on PBS NewsHour website, pbs.org, and it's the Federal Reserve to lend additional $1 trillion a day to large banks. The Federal Reserve moved with unprecedented force and speed Friday, this is back last year, to pump huge amounts of cash in the financial system to ease the disruption that has escalated since a viral outbreak. The New York Federal Reserve Bank said it will offer $1 trillion of overnight loans a day through the end of this month to large banks. That is in addition to $1 trillion of 14-day loans it is offering every week. Banks so far have not borrowed nearly as much as New York Fed is offering, and loans are quickly repaid. None of the funding is from taxpayer dollars. Wall Street analysts say the huge numbers intended to calm markets by demonstrating that the Fed's ability to lend short term is nearly unlimited. So you're saying that the Federal Reserve could lend unlimited amounts of money to the big banks to ensure that the financial market's okay, but they can't spend $14,000 on every single person because a lot of people are homeless. They got fired. They got laid off because of COVID, or maybe their just hours got cut. Don't give me any bullshit about how the government shouldn't give people $2,000 a month when they be giving trillions of dollars to the fucking banks constantly. They've been doing this shit since fucking 2009. Don't give me no fucking bullshit about that ever again. They'll just hand out billions and billions of trillions of dollars to the big banks and all these multinational corporations, but they can't fucking give people $2,000? Give me a fucking break. I don't want to hear no more bullshit about debts, deficits, none of that bullshit. When it comes to big banks, big corporations, and the war profiteers, unlimited amounts of money goes out straight to them in their fucking pockets, in their fucking bank accounts. But they can't give people $2,000 fucking dollars? Go fuck off with that. Those fucking banks should be ours. The Obama administration should have took over those fucking banks, and those banks should have been ours back in fucking 2009. He should have jailed all those fucking bankers for all that fucking fraud they committed. With all those bullshit loans they were selling, or those bullshit mortgages they were selling. Those banks should have been ours for a long time. Don't give me no fucking bullshit about, oh, well, we gotta make sure that people are working and people can't rely on the government. These fucking banks are relying on the fucking government to prop their asses up. These multinational corporations, they rely on the government whenever economic downturn comes. I don't want to hear no more bullshit about that. It's just fucking lies and excuses to make sure that They prop up the elites and crush us. It's fucking bullshit. This is why this nation's been a failed state since fucking 2009. About almost 6 million people got their houses taken over by the big banks when those banks crashed and those fucking banks got bailed out and they didn't get bailed out. Millions of people got laid off and got fired, lost their jobs. The only jobs that got created in the Obama administration was fucking fast food bullshit and retail bullshit jobs. I'll talk a little bit about this article from Chris Hedges late last year. Let's see, he talks about however biased it was towards the interests of the rich. Well, scratch it over. He says he talks about the capitalist democracy is over. However biased it was towards the interests of the rich and however hostile it was to the poor and minorities, the capitalist democracy at least offered the possibility of incremental and piecemeal reform. Now it is a corpse. Iconography and rhetoric remain the same, but it's an elaborate and empty reality show funded by the ruling oligarchs. 1.51 billion for a Biden campaign, 1.7 billion for a Trump campaign. To make us think there are choices, but they are not. Let's skip down. All this is to mask the truth. The oligarchs always win. The people always lose. It doesn't matter who sits in the White House. Whether it's Obama, whether it's Trump, whether it's Bush, whether it's Biden, they all serve the financial oligarchs. The people that sit on the heads of all these multinational corporations, all these CEOs of all these big corporations, they serve them. They don't serve us, the people, they serve them. That's why it didn't matter whether it was Obama, Romney, McCain, Bush, Kerry, Trump, Clinton, Biden. It doesn't matter. Even Sanders, it doesn't matter because they all work for the financial oligarchs, and whether they're gonna super serve them or whether they're gonna serve them, they're gonna work for them and not for us.